What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I am here with this week's episode of Power Book for Force. This is season 1, episode 5 review. I have some behind the scenes tea for you all. So I found out today that this is actually the mid-season finale. So it seems like the show will be off for a few weeks like they typically do, and then we'll be back in a few weeks. I saw this information on one of the stars' page. So do not expect for Force to be on for probably a week or two. So we start off the episode with Tommy alone in his loft apartment acting like Chris Rock in the movie New Jack City with a lighter up in his face, flicking it on and off. All he was missing was the crack pipe. But he was up just running over all of these scenarios in his head from what's been going on since he touched down in Chicago, from Diamond warning him that once he starts this war, it ain't no stopping it, to his issues with Vic and Walter. It's just so much going on, and he's trying to make sure that he stays 2 steps ahead like Ghost used to do. Then we see him driving in the middle of the night, and here comes this G-Wagon speeding after him once again. And of course, it is Claud. I'm like, girl, can you just ask for the man number or email address, get a social media page instead of speeding up in behind him like you on Drag Race? What is wrong with you, girl? So he asks her, does she have anybody else following him? Does she have eyes on him? And she was like, nah, just mine. So then she reaches into her pocket, and of course Tommy stops her because he don't know if she about to pull out a weapon or what. She was like, oh, you're jumpy, like she likes to fuck with him. So then she pulls out her drug, and she was like, look, this is my hot shit that I was telling you about. Of course it's glowing in the dark like it's the Soul Stone from the Avengers movie. He like, nice party trick. And she like, nah, bro, this ain't no party trick. So meanwhile, while he's talking his shit, she had already poured some of the product onto the back of her hand, and then she kissed it. And he looking like, what the fuck is you doing? So she steps close and gives him a kiss, and then they have a really passionate kiss. And of course, the drug takes its effect on Tommy. And I'm like, how does it take effect on you just from being on your lips? I don't know. Maybe this is some new type of drug. Well, she did say it was some new type of drug that ain't never been out there on the market before. But Tommy falls the fuck out like Mary J. Blige did at the goddamn halftime show. So he literally laid on top of his car on the highest of highs, and she was like, enjoy that, boo. And she saunters off and gets back into her car. Baby, I ain't kissing nobody ever again in life. If somebody could possibly have some shit like that on their lips and make me fall out like that, oh, hell to the no. One thing I do know is that Tommy and Claude are going to have some hot, nasty, heterosexual white people sex whenever they do smash. And this is going to further complicate this whole foursome with him and Claude, Gloria and Vic, him and Gloria. This is just too much. So Tommy then shows Liliana the drug that Claude left him, and she's like, he's actually trying to explain to her what type of high that he got from this, because he tells her that this was the best high that he's ever had, and she like, that's a big statement. He was like, nah, no cap, like literally this is some shit. So then she touches it, and she's trying to figure out like, how did they come up with this? She was like, how did it feel after you snorted it? And she was like, did it have an aftertaste? He was like, actually I was kissed into it. And so she was like, oh, do tell. And so he was like, it was Claude or whatever. And I could tell that he already feeling little mama. So I can't wait to see how Gloria gonna feel when she sees that Tommy and Claude have a connection with each other. Liliana starts to tease him, and it's really cute, their relationship, because it's now like they have like a brother-sister relationship. He like, man, fuck all that. Go get your shit so we can step on this and figure out like exactly what this shit is. Then we see Diamond taking a jog, and Seamus, thank you for the T-Squad member who told me that I was saying his name wrong. It's not Seamus, it's Seamus. Seamus stops him. Seamus then makes Diamond get into his squad car. Diamond is like, so it's a crime to take a jog now? So he gets into the back seat of the car, and he's like, you act like we got beef with each other. You act like I know you, like, what's good? So Seamus was like, remember that bad batch of drugs from back in the day that you put out on the street? It killed like 19 people. He was like, I know. As soon as I found out it was a bad batch, I took it off the streets. And Seamus was like, not soon enough, because one of those people was a Kiki, I think he said Wright or something like that, Kiki something. And he was like, you know her? He was like, nah, I don't. And he was like, well, you ruined her life with that batch. So of course that must be his sister that he's taking care of, and that's the reasons why he's taking this money from Vic's family, because he needs the extra money to take care of his sister. So Diamond was like, you know, I served 15 years in jail. I made amends. And he was like, it's mighty funny how you convicts think that you go to jail and you praise God and find Jesus, that all of a sudden that, you know, takes care of all of your sins or whatever. And so Diamond then hits him with the, and I guess it's okay for you to be out here taking that white man's money, girlfriend. Seamus was like, how you know about that? He was like, yeah, it's a problem that your actual cop buddies don't know about that. He was like, because from what I know, dirty cops don't do too well in jail. So Seamus was like, get out my car. He was like, yeah, we both have a past that we can't escape from, but you know, it's basically we got to do what we got to do. So leave me alone, girlfriend, before I spill all your tea. So now Seamus is looking real stupid and dumb in the face. See Jannard and Elijah downstairs underneath the barbershop in the basement counting up money, and he was like, you know, I didn't even know shit about the game until my brother went to jail, and look at how I turned things around and made CBI the way that it is now. And to see him come home and be working with this white boy really fucking hurts. Elijah sitting there rolling up a blunt or whatever, and I'm like, does Elijah not notice that this nigga is high as hell and on a coke bender? Because why are you yelling? I am literally a few feet away from you, sis. Why are you so angry? We are counting up all this money. Are you hot? Because that hoodie you got on look like it is made of wool and not cashmere. So Jannard is steady going off or whatever, yelling and stuff about how CBI is just as much as he is as it is Diamond's, and he's not gonna, you know, let him take this away from him. And so he does a line of code. Elijah is looking at him like, yo, you need to slow the fuck down. Like, this is a problem. And I think at some point Elijah's character is going to get enough of him and his rants and his erratic behavior and tell Diamond. I really think that's what's going to end up happening. And he's going to end up turning on Jannard at some point. Very much like how I referenced New Jack City earlier on in this review, I feel like Jannard's storyline is going to be very much like G Money's storyline in New Jack City, where when Nino found out that he was using drugs and was talking too much, he had to put him down. I feel like Elijah's going to end up snitching on Jannard when things get way too out of hand and Jannard does some fuck shit to him. He's going to go to Diamond and tell him that he coked out, he coming for you, like this nigga ain't no good. And Diamond probably in the beginning won't believe him until he sees it for himself, and then he'll end up having to take his little brother out. So Elijah's character is like, why don't we just start our own thing? But Jannard is opposed to that. He is determined to make CBI his. Next up, we get to see the big man in charge of the Serbians. He is giving me very Dancing with Wolves vibes. He meets up with his men, and one of the guys was like, fuck Tiana, who gives a fuck that she gone? He immediately shoots that motherfucker in the head. Blood splatters on one of the other guys. He was speaking in Serbian language, so I don't know what the fuck they was talking about, but he basically told them motherfuckers, we are going after Tommy. Back at Tommy's crib, him and Liliana are still trying to figure out the ingredients to this hyper drug that Claude gave him, but they can't figure out everything. They only have a little product left. So he was like, do you think if I get you some more product, will you be able to figure this shit out? She was like, yeah. He was like, well, bet I'm gonna go get you some more product. But I think he low-key just wanted to see Claude again, and Liliana knows this, and she was like, oh my god, like, we are partners, girl, we are in this together, we are the new Destiny's Child. And he was like, no, we are not. Like, we are not partners. He was like, look, you need to just take them bricks that we got, and dip because the Serbians are after you and I don't know how I'm gonna keep you safe. And she was like, I don't need protecting. I ain't running and going nowhere. He was like, Liliana, like, bro, you need to fucking dip. She was like, no, I'm going. I'm staying. Me and you are partners. Tommy like, bitch, we are not partners. So he does the Tommy stare down and she keeps eye contact, letting him know she not backing down. And he was like, well, look, are you gonna do everything I say? She was like, yeah. So he was like, look, that means you can't go nowhere without telling me exactly where you going. You got it? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, all right, then keep working. She was like, all right. And he was like, and don't sniff the product. She was like, well, motherfucker, get me some more. I really like their relationship. I'm loving the vibe. I feel like at some point, though, Liliana's character is going to end up getting dropped by somebody. But I hope they keep her around for a while because I like her and Tommy's vibe with each other. Over at Claud's penthouse in the sky, she is making herself a drink when her little business partner rolls up on her like, girl, why are we not getting rid of Delilah or Dahlia, whatever the fuck they drug name is? She was like, girl, we have to be careful with this. We don't want other people knowing about this. She was like, fuck that. We got to get this shit out there ASAP and you not moving fast enough. So if you ain't gonna move on this, I will take my shit elsewhere to somebody else. And Claude looking at her like, oh, really, bitch? Oh, you must not know about me. You must not know about me. Over at the barbershop, Tommy and Diamond discuss him getting rid of Tatiana. And he was like, look, I know that the Serbians are coming after me, but if I had some Southside boys behind me, I may stand a chance. And so Diamond was like, oh, I peep gang with you. Like, you always 5 steps ahead, much like what we saw in the beginning of this episode, how he was trying to, calculate all of his moves. Tommy was like, look at us back on the same page. So Diamond was like, the only way I'm gonna get involved in this is if I get a controlling stake in the Serbian pipeline and at least 51%. Tommy was like, well, I don't have 50% because he's involved in it too when he got a stake. In walks Vic. Tommy lets Diamond know that if he works with them, they'll have control of the Serbian pipeline and be running shit. We then see them all in the car in the alleyway watching the Serbians move around. Vic puts out there that they all need to be equal partners in this. And Diamond then points out that they all need to be equal partners in this business. Tommy don't really want to let go of that 1%, but he decides to go ahead and do it. And he was like, if I run the play, y'all got my back. Diamond was like, yeah. Vic was like, we all have to have unanimous vote moving forward. So they all make an agreement to now be in business with each other. And I really like this group. I really do. I don't want to see moving forward Tommy and Vic have an issue with each other. And I feel like, of course, things are going to go sour because somebody is going to want more power and that's going to have, problems within this group moving forward. Gloria'S still in the picture. That situation ain't over, but I'm really loving this duo. Do y'all love this duo as much as I love this? Not duo, trio. Do you guys love this trio as much as I do? Because I'm really feeling the vibes, especially with Liliana on their team. Tommy then points out to Diamond that they're going to need Jannard in on this because they need as much muscle as possible to go against the Serbian. Diamond tells Tommy that he don't know if he's going to be able to pull Jannard in this. And Tommy was like, look, I need all the muscle that I can get. We then see Diamond at the barbershop talking to Jannard about this deal. And Jannard is like, why are you going so hard for these fucking white boys? Like, what is going on with you, sis? Like, since when black lives don't the fuck matter? And Diamond was like, it's not about that. Like, we gonna have a seat at the table. Like, we've never had this much power behind us to be able to take on somebody as big as the Serbians. And so Jannard was like, what we gonna get out of this? He was like 34%. That piqued his interest right there. Them ears went up at that point. So he ruminated on it a minute and he was like, all right, I got you. We in this. They do their little handshake or whatever. They give each other a hug, but Jannard is going to end up snaking his brother. Now, something that I want to point out that a friend of mine by the name of Derek, shout out to you, Derek, he pointed out to me that Jannard was so enthralled and mesmerized by Liliana's scar because he also has a disfigurement. So if you pay attention to Jannard's left ear, they have a prosthetic on his ear to make it seem like his ear is like fucked up or whatever. And I was like, oh, I didn't peep game until this episode when Jannard and Diamond were sitting down having this conversation. And I finally took a look at it and I was like, oh, so something fucked up happened to his ear. I don't know if that motherfucker got shot off or something, but something really bad happened to him, and I'm guessing we're gonna find out more about that moving forward. Tommy returns to his loft and asks Liliana, did she crack the code yet on this drug? And she was like, no, it doesn't bond to anything, she can't figure it out. So she was like, I'm gonna give somebody a call. He was like, no, you cannot call nobody, we cannot let nobody know about this shit, only us. So she was like, all right, girl, calm the fuck down. So he then reaches under his bed and gets the bag of keys of coke. And she was like, what you doing with that? He was like, look, girl, you got to get out of Dodge. And she was like, I already told you I'm not going. He was like, you ain't got no family or nothing. She was like, no. And even if I did, I wouldn't bring it to their doorstep. So Tommy was like, look, Liliana, like, dead ass, you got to go. And I'm figuring he wanted her to go because he knows that this war is about to start and it's about to get ugly, and he's trying to protect her so she does not get killed by the Serbians. But she was like, I'm not going nowhere. We all chose this life. I don't have nothing else to fall back on. This is the only life that I fucking know. Same thing for you. So I chose this life. I'm in it. I'm not going nowhere. So at that point, he realizes like he ain't got no choice but to rock with his sis. So he was like, I'm gonna get us all the way dialed in on this. You know, you just gotta stay put or whatever. I really hope they don't kill her character off, but all the foreshadowing shows that her character will get killed at some point, and this was her opportunity to get the fuck out and start anew. And I'm like, all them keys, you couldn't have sold that and made a couple of million. I don't know how much drugs cost, but sister girl ain't going nowhere. Point blank and the period. Back at the family estate, Vic clues in Simon on what's going on. Simon like, you sure you want to work with CBI? He was like, look, we good. Like, this is my chance to do my own thing. I ain't gotta be reaching out to my daddy, begging him to do anything. Like, I need you. He was like, fuck it, I got you. Like, if we gonna do this, we gonna ride the fuck out together. So Simon is in, Vic is in. It's about to go down. When his daddy find out, oh Lord, it's about to be trouble. Claud, I guess, finally decided to pick up a phone instead of stalking Tommy and had him come to her crib. He was like, look, how much product you got left? And she was like, it was good, wasn't it? He was like, girl, it was cute. She was like, it was cute. It was good. Okay, yeah, sure. He was like, look, if we gonna do this, I want 70%. She was like, hell to the no, fuck you. He was like, okay, good luck, girl. So he decided to walk out, and she was like 60-40. And he was like, no. And she was like, this is my product. Like, how dare you? So then she walks up in his face and they have a sexy stare down, and he was like 60-40 which way? And she was like, you. So he gets 60, she gets 40, and she was like, no, okay, now that we got a deal, I need you to run some interference for me, and I think that is to get rid of Mai's ass. We then see the Serbians moving product, doing their thing. Then we see Tommy call Diamond, who's at the barbershop cutting hair, and was like, we got everything in place. He was like, yeah. And Diamond was like, why are we doing all of this for one person? He was like, it's never just about one person, good girlfriend. Meanwhile, while he's on the phone with Diamond, he is watching Mai do her little interaction with the fat man that we saw on last week's episode. Mai gets in her car and dips. The fat man goes inside this warehouse to use the bathroom. Tommy follows him inside the bathroom while he's sitting on the toilet taking a dump. I can't believe he was actually sitting on the toilet. Ew, disgusting. Tommy then grabs the bag, and the dude stands up, and Tommy was like, sit your ass the fuck down. He holds him at gunpoint, opens the door, and was like, how much you make an hour? Dude was like, $30. He was like, well, look, you got a raise. So he was like, you know, you handled yourself really well today. I might need somebody like you on my team later. So now we got Fat Man on Tommy's team. Fat dude was like, what is in those barrels? And Tommy was like, the future. So Tommy now got the product. Now, mind you, I'm watching the episode as I'm doing this review. I got the hookup, so don't worry about how I'm watching it early. But Liliana is bored at the crib and decides to finally try this super drug. She takes the super drug and it immediately kicks in, and she is experiencing the high of a lifetime. She then grabs her coat and dips out the crib after Tommy told her ass to sit the fuck down. Then pops up at Gloria's house and tells her to take a ride with him. She gets in the car with him and he takes her to this bit of land that he apparently has bought for them to build their future home. She is, of course, shocked and happy by this. She was like, this is a beautiful dream. He was like, no, this is not a dream. This is our reality. And she was like, oh my God. So you can tell that there is still love there. She still is in love with him. And she's happy that he is ready finally to cut the strings from his father and for them to live happily ever after. They then start smashing on top of his car. Meanwhile, across the way, we see Uncle Paulie snapping photographs of them together so he could take it back to Walter, who is going to be very displeased by what he sees. Paulie, of course, takes the pictures back to Walter, who is pissed by this. And Paulie tells him, like, you have an opportunity to make it right with your kids. When it comes to love, like, there ain't no stopping that shit. Don't make the same mistakes that I made with mine, because I don't have a chance with my child. We saw in last week's episode that his son Andrew, or Andre, is on drugs and is homeless. And Walter looking at him like, I know you ain't basically telling me to condone this shit. He was like, look, as soon as one of them get knocked out of the top spot of trying to come for this throne, all they gonna be worried about is you. Fix this shit ASAP. Tommy then calls Claud and she was like, did you get it? He was like, yeah, these two barrels are cute, girl, but we gonna need more weight in this. And she was like, I got you, trust. But she just happy that she finally got the product in her hands, so now they can get rid of Mai. So Mai is about to get killed this episode. Then we see Uncle Paulie at Gloria'S bar, and he tells all the patrons to get out. They looking like, I'm still over here eating my gumbo. He was like, I don't give a damn, get the fuck out. Gloria, of course, is pissed off. Walter then walks in. Gloria fixes Walter a drink. He comes up to the bar and takes a swig. Meanwhile, Paulie is standing at the door, listening in on all of this, but playing his position. Walter tells Gloria that he's there for a drink and to see an old friend, and she was like, I never knew you thought of me as an old friend. So then he gets to talking about her beauty and how beautiful she is and stunningly gorgeous, but that she will never be the face that his son wakes up to in the morning. And she was like, it's not up to you. He was like, oh, but girl, it is up to me, because you will not be the one kissing my grandchildren and putting them to bed at night. This is never going to happen. So obviously he did not take Paulie's advice. And he was like, as cute and as pretty as you are, basically, I would hate to have to fuck you up. He grips her neck while he's saying this. She jerks away from him. And when she jerks away from him, he goes into a coughing fit. Because remember, this nigga got lung cancer and ain't doing shit about it. So she was like, maybe you need to sit down, Walter. And he was like, nah, I'm good. He takes another drink. Paulie is looking like, what the fuck is going on with him? And he was like, Gloria then says to him, me and Vic's relationship has nothing to do with my business with you. And he was like, oh, but it does, because you came into the situation with a debt. So I'm guessing that she must have taken money from him to get this bar, and now she's having to pay him back, or she took money from him for something else. But he was like, you can be paid in full if you never see my son again and leave this bar and basically leave out of town. And he was like, you're gonna have to answer to me ASAP, because I'm gonna need an answer on what your plan is and what are you going to do. Down the block, we see the two black detectives in the car going through files, trying to figure out a way to infiltrate the Flyn family. They see Walter exiting the bar, and they see Paulie taking a smoke break, and they was like, the female detective was like, that's how we're going to get in. So I don't know if they're going to use his son against him or something, but they're going to try to pull Paulie into the situation. We then see JP at the crib watching the film of him and his mother when he was little, and he takes a screenshot photo of Kate when she was younger taking a walk with him. JP then sits on the couch and starts rummaging through old photos of himself when he was a little boy, and he stops at one of the pictures because he sees a picture of himself standing in front of what looks like a school, and in the background he sees a little white boy that is Tommy. So apparently at some point when he was a child, Tommy used to live in Chicago. This story just gets even crazier. So of course, JP is going to want to know answers to what was going on, and he's going to eventually end up reaching out to Kate and bring Kate to Chicago, and that is going to cause a whirlwind of trouble because Tommy and his father told him to leave Kate the fuck alone. Vic then storms into his father's office while Walter is sitting at his desk looking at an old photo of them, and he was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you threatened fucking Gloria? And he was like, I didn't threaten her, I just gave her a little bit of advice. Claude walks in and was like, what is going on? He was like, Dad threatened Gloria. He was like, are you really gonna make me choose between you and her? Are you really that confident? He was like, because it will not be you that I choose. And Walter was like, you will marry a respectable Irish woman. And Vic Child grew some nuts and was like, and let's see how that worked out for you. Baby, Walter backhanded the shit out of that nigga. Walter must have took a deep breath with them rickety lungs, honey, and used all the strength that he had and knocked the shit out of his son. Claudia was standing back like, ooh, shit. Vic had blood coming out of his mouth or whatever. He just looked at him like, all right, bet, I got you. So now things are even worse between Vic and Walter. He storms out the office and Claude tells her father, like, he is not built like you. Like, I told you. Vic, Simon, the CBI boys, everybody is together gearing up to go heads up with the Serbians. Tommy comes down and sees everybody is ready. Jannar was like, you never told me that you sweetened the cut. And he was like, look, I did what was right. Okay. And then we see Liliana beat the fuck up, tied to a chair. The Serbians, of course, found her ass, and now this bitch is in trouble. The Serbian head honcho is in Liliana's face, and he was like, just scream for me a little bit, just a little bit. So obviously while they was whooping her ass, she was a G about it and didn't make a noise. She refuses. So he then has one of his guys cut the tape off of one of her arms and then break her motherfucking fingers. Child, I was like, girl, of course she screamed in at that point, and he was like, where is Tommy Egan? This bitch pulls up her hand and gives him the finger, which is pointing left like a left turn signal, and I hollered. Liliana is a G and I fucks with her heavy. Claudia then brings her scrawny ass down to Gloria'S bar to tell her to stay away from Vic. And Gloria was like, okay, well, since your daddy couldn't do it, now here you come. You are just like that motherfucker. She was like, I'm not anything like my father. Look, I know he bought the land for you. And she looking like, bitch, how the fuck you know? I just found out. She was like, look, it's worth $10 million. I will give you the land. You can live happily ever after, bitch, but it just won't be with my brother. At that point, Gloria is sick and tired of these Flynn motherfuckers, and she was like, look, you got to get the fuck out of here ASAP before I whoop your ass. She was like, look, I'm just trying to talk to you as a friend. Gloria was like, bitch, you ain't none of my motherfucking friend, hoe. So I don't know if at one point they used to be cool, but obviously they're not cool anymore. Gloria then escorts her to the door and was like, even with your father being sick, you still aren't as strong as him. And Claudia looking like, what you mean sick? She was like, bitch, get out my bar. So at this point, Claudia now has been finally clued in that some shit is going on with her father's health that she does not know about. Then we get down to the good part. The Serbians are outside. One of their men walked back. He was like, one of the guys was like, where the fuck is your gun? Where the fuck have you been? Obviously, they use him as bait to come back there, because next thing you know, dude head gets blown off. Tommy and them come out the back, get the dumping on them niggas. They kill everybody, or so the fuck they think. Simon was like, yo, that shit made my dick hard. Next thing you know, his head gets blown the fuck off, and I'm loving these kill shots that they are doing, and they're making it look so realistic. Whoever they brought in for this show to do the kill scenes are doing a fantastic job. It looks so fucking realistic. Tommy then turns around and shoots the person that killed Simon. Vic, of course, is distraught now because his main man is dead and gone. DOA. Tommy tells Vic they got a dip. He of course doesn't want to leave his man like that, but he has no choice, so he closes Simon's eyes and follows the rest of the guys. Back at Claud's loft, Mai finds out that their shipment has been stolen. Claude walks in like, what's your problem? She was like, the product has been stolen. She was like, how the fuck did that happen? And she was like, the fat man, didn't do what the fuck he was supposed to do. And Claude fixes herself a drink, once again using that ice pick to cut ice. Who the hell uses an ice pick like that with a big ass block of ice like that? But okay, but it was great for the scene. But Claude fixes herself another drink and was like, I told you I had reach, girl. She was like, I knew I couldn't trust your ass. I knew I worked with the wrong fucking Flynn. Claude was like, bitch, don't you fucking walk up out of here. Girl was like, girl, fuck you. Claude then grabs the girl's arm to stop her. The girl then backhands the shit out of her like her daddy backhanded the shit out of Vic. The girl then grabs her shit to go and walk away. As she's walking away to leave, she is then stabbed in the back of her either neck or her head. I think it was the back of her neck. Claude is shocked at what she did. So obviously this was her first body. She is trembling like, what the fuck did I just do? Bitch, you're just like your daddy. Tommy and the crew then heads into the warehouse where the Serbians are sitting around. They get to dumping on the Serbians. A whole shootout starts and they killing them. One of the dudes on they squad got shot or whatever. Vic ends up pulling him back. They end up killing some more guys. Diamond tells Jannard and Elijah to go upstairs to get the dude that was on the second level. They go upstairs. Elijah come out looking like he ain't never held a gun before in his life and tries to shoot one of the Serbians, but he gets shot in the neck. He ends up then sitting behind a box or a barrel or something. Jannard was like, motherfucker, and shoots the dude or whatever, kills him, heads over to Elijah like, Elijah, please don't die or whatever. Elijah is gurgling blood and he is dead. So I guess my theory was wrong. Elijah is DOA. Jeremiah is off the show. At this point, Jannard is pissed the fuck off because he done lost his best friend. Tommy and them keep on shooting and killing the Serbians. When more Serbians arrive, Diamond was like, nigga, this is more than a six pack. Like, I hope we got enough bullets for this shit. They get the dumping on the new Serbians that have arrived. Tommy then walks up on one of them like, where's Merkovich? Before he can even say anything, dude is shot in the head. And then another guy, he gets shot in the head by one of the other Serbians. That Serbian then goes to shoot Tommy, and Diamond then shoots that Serbian. And Tommy was like, why the fuck did you shoot him? We almost had the intel on where Mikovic or whatever the fuck his name is. Dude, like, he was about to kill your ass. Then Tommy gets a phone call from the man of the hour. We see him at a whole different location, of course, with Liliana. Liliana is now hanging from some shit with her hands tied above her head dangling. Tommy tells the crew that they gotta find Liliana. They was like, no the fuck we don't. We did our job. That's extra, girl, and you ain't got no money to pay us for that. Tommy was like, but, and they was like, no buts. That is on you, sis. They dip out. Tommy standing there like, fuck, like I'm literally a one-man band. What the fuck am I gonna do? Jannard lingers around for a second because I think he low-key kind of does care for Liliana. So I don't know if he's going to end up helping Tommy in the end or what. Tommy gets a message that Liliana is at his place, so he is racing against the clock to get to her. Vic throws his guns in the ocean. You could tell that he's just fucked up about what happened with Simon. Then we see Claude at her crib getting high while Mai's body is downstairs on a white fur rug bleeding out. This bitch is crazy. She ain't even asked for backup yet. Then we see Walter at home doing a breathing machine. I remember having to use them, child, and trying to see if, he can get the ball up on the little breathing machine, but it ain't working too good, so he gets mad and throws it. We then see Gloria looking over the deed for the land, pissed the fuck off, and then we see Tommy pull up to his crib, and the Serbians are there waiting. He gets out the car and asks Mikovic or whatever his name is, where is Liliana? Dude was like, you really care about her? He was like, nah, you supposed to protect your people, like, regardless. So they bring Liliana out the car. Dude was like, look, I could kill both of you motherfuckers right now. As soon as he about to take his gun out to kill them, a car comes speeding down the street. It's a black truck, and the car get the dumping and shooting or whatever. They get to shooting. The Mikovich guy ends up making it out of there, but Tommy shoots at the car. Liliana was like, who the fuck was that? They don't know who that was that came through dumping. She was like, you been shot. Tommy was like, that ain't my blood. Then he sees that she's been shot. He looks down. She has a bullet wound in her shoulder, but the shot went clean through. So at that point, I'm knowing that it was Jannard that did it. He actually came there to help because he has feelings for Liliana, but he also wanted to get kind of revenge about what just happened to Elijah. They don't know that it was him though. Tommy was like, it was a clean shot. It went straight through. She happy that she alive. He takes her back inside the crib or whatever, was like, we gonna get you together. Then at the end of the episode, we see a man taking off all these items of clothing while this truck is on fire. He takes his mask off, and of course it is Jannard, and the episode goes off. Overall, I must say this was a very entertaining mid-season finale. My favorite part of it all was the shootout scene. The kill shots were amazing. Can't wait to see where the other half of this season is going to go. I give tonight's episode a B+. It was cute. It was good. I quite enjoyed it a lot. Elijah is dead. R.I.P. to him. And Simon is dead as well. Who else do you think is going to die this season? We also, I forgot to mention that we saw Jannard's character sitting outside the barbershop looking at his brother like he wanted to kill his ass right then and there, but he did not do it. Let's talk down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.